Hi, it's Dr. Loraine Goodwin, candidate for Congress, 19th Congressional District. Here we are, get out the vote. A couple days, we're going to be deciding who's going to be the congressional representative for the 19th Congressional District, and I'm asking for your vote. I want to point out some of the differences that we have between the two choices you have. One is Mr. Denham, and the other is me, Loraine Goodwin. One, we're going to be voting on health care. We want to know what kind of health care we're going to be providing to the residents in the 19th Congressional District and nationwide, but in particular this election is about our 19th Congressional District. I am going to be voting to reform the health care reform bill, making that health care reform bill better. It had a lot of things that were put into it when the Republicans were trying to kill the bill. They put a lot of things in it to make the bill less workable, but the bill passed with those things in it, and I will work to make sure we clean up that health care reform bill so that we can provide health care for our women and children, cover pregnancies, make sure we are delivering healthy babies, which can go many, many years without needing health care. If you have a baby born who needs immediate intensive care, unit care, they're going to require a lot of care over their lifetimes. They're going to incur a lot of expenses. If you have a baby that's born healthy, needing very little care, that baby can go 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 years without needing a lot of medical care or any significant medical care. So that's what I'm pushing for. I'm going to reform the health care reform bill. My opponent will fight to repeal the health care reform bill. That means immediately we go into 1 year or 1.5 or more years of fighting about how to kill the health care reform bill, how to get rid of it, how to get rid of health care for our families, for our seniors, for our baby boomers that are aging, for our mothers, and I don't want to do that. The other thing is jobs. Of course, I'm fighting for jobs in the 19th Congressional District. My opponent, Mr. Denham, has been in office for 8 years, and for the past 3 years, when we've had this real crisis in health care, he has done absolutely nothing to improve jobs or increase jobs in our area. If you've seen something that he's done, please let me know. I have not seen anything over the past 3 years. This is the kind of lack of leadership that he has and that he wants to continue. I want to improve it. I want jobs for our Central Valley families. Jobs mean income for our cities as far as taxes, tax base for our schools. It also means taxes for the state and taxes for the federal government, as well as a roof over our heads and food on the table and all the necessities and luxuries that we want and expect. Next are farmers. Everyone says they're for farmers. I have been able to, in 2010, 2011, get from the federal government $450,000 for farmers to produce fruits and vegetables for our school children. This this federal grant started in 2007 after I was elected to the Madera Unified School Board. It continues to grow. It's highly accepted. I have been able to deliver to farmers. That $450,000 goes to pay farmers, goes directly to farmers. It doesn't go anywhere else. And it pays for jobs for people who work on the farm or people who are involved with farm management. And it also provides income and other needed things for the farmers, as well as helping our students learn how to enjoy our local produce, our farm fruits and vegetables, and make that a part of their regular diet. It helps to feed a lot of children who also don't have food at home, so that they can take that fruit and vegetable home and use it for a snack or dinner, or just to make sure that they have something in their bellies before they go to sleep at night. National security. I'm very much for national security, and I want to secure our borders. Mr. Denham, as a state senator, has done absolutely nothing for national security. I have not heard him bring up the topic once in the past 8 years. So we're very different in that. I will make sure our borders are secure and that we stop the very, very deadly drug trade that's going on right at our borders and coming up into the Central Valley. We've had an increase in crime, and I want to make sure our people in the Central Valley are safe and secure at work, at home, and at play. Financial reform is another topic that we differ on. I want to make sure that our families have financial reform, that we stop the credit card companies from gouging the high tax interest, the high interest rates that they're putting on our credit cards, stopping our families from being able to get ahead, enslaving them basically to old credit card debt. That's not right, and I will put a stop to that. Mr. Denham, over the past 8 years, has absolutely made no mention of the problems that our families are having as far as past bills and credit card bills, nor has he done anything about mortgage. I will make sure that we have pathways to get our families out of mortgage debt, but yet keep them in homes. I want our families and children in our local homes. So I will work to do that. Mr. Denham has done absolutely nothing, and hence our Central Valley has had a very high foreclosure rate, throwing families and seniors and children out into the street. That's not what I will support. That's not what I expect from the Central Valley and the people that run our government. I will change that, and I will help our families. I will make it just as easy for our families to stay in a home as it is for a flipper to get a hold of that home and start making money just flipping the home in the financial market. I come with no strings attached. I have not taken big money. Mr. Denham, for the past 8 years, has been taking money up and down the state for various causes. I know he has taken money from various Indian tribes up and down the state, and I don't know what promises he's made. Of course, I believe that whenever you take money, something's been promised, and Mr. Denham has a lot of strings attached, and we don't know what they are because he won't disclose them. So, in that respect, I'm only focused on you. You are the only person, the only thing I will be looking at, and I will be trying to please. I will focus on you, your family, and your businesses. I will give you complete access. I am very much interested in talking with you, keeping in contact, and I will do that in any way that is easiest for the Valley to contact me. Mr. Denham, on the other hand, has refused to do an open debate. He told the Fresno League of Women Voters he would not debate me, and hence you have not had the opportunity to compare us on issues. You do not know where Mr. Denham stands on issues compared to me, and you do not know how I would answer his questions or he would answer mine. I will provide access. I think that's a basic tenet of our liberty, and that without access and the ability to debate issues, we do not have a democracy. We should not vote for Mr. Denham if he is not going to disclose what he's trying to do, who he is, who he's indebted to, and so forth. Education is, of course, very important to me. I have an education. I have a doctorate in medicine and a doctorate in law, and I'm a role model because when I tell people I want them to get an education, they can look at me and say, well, she actually went and got one. So I feel that being a good role model in education will help our children in the future and see where they can go with their own educations. In addition, I want education for all of our students who are desirous of having one, and I will make sure that we have the opportunities for education available. Mr. Denham also says, of course, he is for education, but I don't believe that he really understands what it is to get an education, a full education, or what it's like to work with the educational system. I, of course, was a school board member, Madera Unified School District, from 2006 to November of 2010, and so I understand what schools need, what schools are lacking, and the kinds of problems school districts have in dealing with Sacramento, where Mr. Denham worked to help keep our federal funds from us for extended periods of time because they were unable to do a budget and they were unable to reduce the deficit of the state. So I am good at doing a budget and reducing the deficit, and I will bring those skills with me to Washington, D.C., along with my skills in medicine, health care, and law. I know how to read the law. I know how to understand the law. Mr. Denham has incurred several federal election law violations because he had problems reading and interpreting the federal election campaign laws. So that's doesn't sound to me like he will understand the laws or the legislation, and that's another reason I would be a very good representative for the 19th Congressional District. If you have any questions, please feel free to